Hello and welcome to this live stream on postgraduate study in pharmaceutical quality by design. Really excited you can join us, and it's going to be an exciting stream today. My name is Georgia and I work in the Montfort University marketing team. Today I am joined by a really exciting panel, including program leader in pharmaceutical quality, who can provide us a deeper insight as to what the course entails, whether it's right for you, and how it can provide you with a competitive edge in the graduate job market. We've also got industry professionals, and we've got students who will be able to give you a first-hand experience of what pharmaceutical quality by design is all about, from studying at DMU all into the work, entering into the world of work. We'll be answering any questions you have at the end of the live stream. So if you can leave us a comment and just let us know you're watching, that would be great. And yeah, join in the discussion. Okay, let's start by introducing everyone. So I think the first person to introduce is Val, who is the program leader. Hi, Val. Do you want to just introduce yourself?
Hi, Georgia. Sorry, it was the mic. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today talking to people that are joining in. And I am Valkyria Shalindvai, my name. I'm the Associate Professor in Pharmaceutics at the Leicester School of Pharmacy. And I've been working for the Montfort University for more than 25 years now. So I start off as my background is in chemical engineering. That is what I've been training, but I've worked a little bit in industry, in polymer manufacturing. And since then, I've moved into academia to do my PhD. And that was in polymer chemistry. And I've been in academia since. So in the last 10 years, I have been engaged in developing and also managing the two courses that we have in Quality by Design. One is the full-time, and also we also have a distance learning course that we run for people that are working in industry. I think this is what my specialty is. It varies in different areas, but I've focused my research is really in manufacturing of pharmaceutical products and also developing materials characterizations, material science. And I've got collaborative work with national and international universities and PhD programs that I run as well at the Montfort University. So I'm delighted to be here today. We have a fantastic panel, like Georgia just said, and I'll pass on to the next members of the panel to introduce themselves. I'll come back to you to say more about the program in a minute.
That's perfect. Thank you very much, Val. So next, let's introduce Gordon. Here he is. Hi, Gordon.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Gordon Muirhead. I'm a pharmacist. I've worked in the pharmaceutical industry for over 30 years. But more importantly for this introduction, I'm a visiting professor at the university, and I will be working with you. I will be teaching you. I will be passing on my experience to you. You will have access to an amazing network at the end of your year. And we aim to equip you to be ready for as long a career as I have had in the pharmaceutical industry. So I look forward to this session. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be talking a little bit later with Gordon about his experience within the industry. Next to introduce is Mustafa. And he can give us a bit of an intro to it. Here he is. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Georgia, for the kind introduction, and all the DMU team actually for making this happen, and welcome everybody to this live stream. My name is Mustafa Zaman. By day, I'm a regulatory consultant. I've been in regulatory affairs for about 15 years now. But looking way back when, I'm a pharmacist by profession and I have a PhD in drug delivery as well. I've been really fortunate enough, and I'll be talking about this a little bit later on, to have worked as a regulator for the Medicines Agency in the UK. I've worked in industry, including at GSK, where Gordon worked. I've worked on site in a Korean company recently, and I've worked in a number of CROs, contract research organizations such as Parexel, Genpact, Pharmalink, and most recently Sendia. I have a specialist knowledge in chemistry, manufacture, and control, both from a development point of view and after development, post-approval point of view for different types of drugs, whether they'll be small molecules or large molecules, like vaccines, for example. I have a number of teaching appointments, and one of which is at DMU. So very pleased to meet everyone. Thank you.
That's perfect. And then the last two people, and we'll introduce them together, are our current students. So we have Sana, there she is.
Hi everyone, my name is Sana and I work as a Quality by Design specialist for QD Vision, a software company based in the US. I graduated from my master's last January, and since finishing the course, I've also worked as a process development scientist at PCI Pharma in South Wales. Currently, I help industry scientists with data and information transfer, for example, from Excel spreadsheets to a central repository in the cloud. As well as that, I help them optimize their manufacturing processes through a streamlined product lifecycle approach based on ICH principles. Happy?
Hi everyone. I am currently a PhD student at Montfort University. Prior to this, I did the Pharmaceutical and Cosmetic Science course, followed by the Pharmaceutical Quality by Design Masters. I am in the second year of my research, and it focuses on adopting quality by design principles to develop and manufacture new medicines using continuous hot melt extrusion and monitoring the process using inline UV-vis spectroscopy, which is a novel process analytical technology tool. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for your introduction. So as you can see, we have an amazing panel with us today. So we've got students, industry professionals. So get your questions coming in, because we have everyone here to answer them. So if you're tuning in, you may already know that the Pharmaceutical Quality by Design is based on the application of product and process sciences from early to late stages of the product development cycle. So Val, could you tell us a bit more about the course that we offer and just give us a bit of an insight?
Of course. I think I would like to just share with you a few slides, if we can have I've just prepared a few slides so we can discuss a little bit about the course and a few aspects that also I would like to talk to you about. Just waiting for the slides. Okay, the slides are coming. So this course we've been running for 10 years, and it was with the help with industry that we've put this together. So I'm very fortunate to have this network that we've built along those years. The quality by design term, sometimes the students get confused about the term itself, but it is in a nutshell a framework that is available for you to practice pharmaceutical science and technology in the 21st century. So it is very much an enhanced approach and much more modern approach to develop and manufacture products. So the first question perhaps that everybody, when you're looking out there for an MSc course, is this course right for me? And the thing that I can tell you is over this last 10 years that we've been running, our graduates have got different backgrounds that, for example, we have a lot of students from our pharmaceutical and cosmetic science program, which is in a way is a natural progression for them to specialize in some areas that will give them a little bit of edge when they go to workplace. But also equally, we had students from chemistry, forensic, and medical science, biomedical science. We have engineers taking the course, material scientists, regulatory affairs, people with background in regulatory as well. So in a nutshell, I think if you have a degree that is a science-based degree, yes, this is very much the course for you, and you'll be getting a lot out of it. So the second question that you might be asking, oh, there are several courses around that covers the same pharmaceutical science. Why this course? What about this course that is so exciting? Obviously, I would say it's the best course in the world, but in actual fact, it's a unique course in the UK that is dedicated to teach you a regulatory framework that is aligned with international regulatory agencies like FDA, EMA, MHRA, and also it is well recognized by multinational companies, not only the bigger companies, but also generics and equipment suppliers, excipient suppliers, and so on. This slide, I just put a few companies there for you to have to know which kind of companies we are working with, and they have helped us for many years now. On the pictures that I've put there, the bottom one, just 1 second, you can go back to this slide. Sorry. The picture there, the bottom one, is a state-of-the-art laboratory that we've built dedicated to students for this course. So you have a great opportunity to do experiments that are aligned with industry, what the industry needs. The top picture is our students. Every year we run a masterclass that is really was prepared and designed by Gordon Muirhead, and the guy seeing the picture there is Kendall. Kendall is also our visiting professor. He's a director at GSK. So this is very unique. Not many courses have this opportunity of interaction with actually practitioners from industry. The next slide, perhaps the next question, then the final question that everybody would ask is, would I get a job after complete this course? What I can say is the knowledge and skills that you will gain are transferable to many industries, not only the pharma industry. For example, cosmetics, food, engineering, regulatories, and many others. I've got 3 examples there of jobs in industry, manufacturing, R&D, business. Perhaps later on, when I finish my presentation, Gordon and Sana can expand on that and give their testimonial about the opportunities that there are for you guys. Regulatory, Mustafa has already introduced himself. There is also a huge opportunity in that area. And obviously, academia is a next step if you want to further your studies. There are quite a few students that take this option to do further PhD programs with us. And Hetvi can tell her own experience later on as well. So if we move on now to the next slide, maybe if you're not familiar with the terminology, we have a definition there for you. It's a mouthful of words, but I think it's important. I broke it down into 4 bullet points. It is a systematic approach that you can apply your knowledge of science and technology into designing and manufacturing products. And it always starts with a target. You have to decide what quality means. For example, if you want to make a delicious Nigella cake, chocolate cake, and in the middle you decided to change to the sponge, Victoria sponge, you're probably going to be in trouble. So it is fundamental that at the beginning you know what quality means in terms of the specifications of the product. And then follow up, you need to know how to design that product, and you need to know how to manufacture. So all the knowledge, the technology knowledge, we will teach you the different types of manufacturing processes that there are in industry, and so on. And most importantly, to be efficient, you need to be able to control your process. You need to be able to develop these strategies, and also you need to continuously develop. I like the definition from Kendall, from GSK. It boils down to QBD is common sense in good science, to be honest with you. So it's not a difficult thing. As long as you have fundamental science, a good knowledge, you can apply the framework in a very efficient way. And this is what we're trying to teach you. So the next slide is about the course itself. What is how we can translate the QBD framework into actually the modules that you have to do. We have 8 modules, and this equates to 180 credits. And the diagram there shows you how we deliver those modules in term 1, 2, and we have at the end, in the summer term, we have one module that is a big module, which will be your dissertation project, that you have quite a lot of time to develop your own ideas in terms of applying everything that you've learned so far. So the modules, there are 4 areas. The first one is the quality by design framework itself. We teach you the tools that you need to know. And those tools are very transferable, as I said before. It doesn't need only to apply to pharmacy, but it can be applied to other areas. For example, design of experiments. How to be clever and design better products more efficiently. So those tools are extremely important. And then we have a module which covers product design. We have a module that covers the manufacture. We have a module that covers characterization. So the analytical tools that you need to know in order to maintain and in order to assure quality is extremely important. Mustafa has mentioned about we teach you not only develop products with small molecules, but also big molecules. So we have a module that covers biotechnology. So everything is condensed into a book that we've written for the course, and this was a true collaborative project with experts from industry. So I've edited the book with Mark Gibson, and this provides a guideline for you to learn the methodology. The last slide is about networking, and we organize every year a symposium where we bring about 100 plus industrialists to discuss aspects of modern pharmaceutical technology and strategies for better manufacturing of medicines. And this is a great opportunity for our students. They present posters, and to be honest, is a platform where they can, many of them, find jobs during this symposium. And I think Sana is a case that she will probably talk about that later on. So we provide a great opportunity for the students to interact with the industrialists, and this gives them an edge compared to the other programs that are out there. So I think this is a summary, and obviously we'll be discussing more about this in a minute, and perhaps now is a time to pass on to the panel for their own testimonial. So if we go back to Gordon, and maybe we can discuss about the opportunities in industry, and I think this is a good opportunity for Gordon to say his experience with us and also his own experience with industry.
Yeah, thank you, Wokeria, and again, welcome to everyone listening in, or those who will listen again. I'm an extremely lucky person. I was at the birth of Quality by Design in the late, I guess, 1900s, 2000, and I've been associated with it ever since, and its close friend, Process Analytical Technologies. I've been associated with De Montfort for quite a while. I mentioned earlier on I'm a visiting professor. I will help teach you, but I am one of many. Wokeria and the team have surrounded themselves with numerous industry and academic experts who you will have access to, and they will be part of your teaching and your experience, and this important word of network that's been mentioned a few times. I mentioned I'm lucky. I'm very lucky. I was been able to launch dozens of life-saving, life-changing medicines on the market using the principles that we're going to teach you. And all of them received global first-time approval, even a continuous process and even real-time release, which I'm not going to explain just now, but will be explained to you. So as was mentioned earlier on, I was fortunate to spend most of my career at GlaxoSmithKline, GSK, and they were a great company to work for and allowed us to experiment with approaches, and this is one of them. But the course is a real practical delivery. You get to learn by doing things. Now, if you do that your whole career, you will constantly be learning. But this is a real fast track. In that 1 year, you're maybe going to get 3, 4, 5 years experience bolted onto you, and a master's degree. Now out there in the competitive world, you're going to be up against people with bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, and still some PhDs. But many of your competitors, if I can call them that, are already at their initial degree being trained to master's level. So pharmacists are an M.Pharm, engineers are now typically M.Eng, chemists are M.Chem. They've escalated that. And this is a 1-year program that will get you to that level, and I would even argue give you the edge because of that practical element and your exposure to industry and the network. So if you want to work in the pharmaceutical industry, this is a fantastic degree to take. It is unique, Wokeria mentioned. That's one of the reasons why I'm so firmly associated with it, because there is nothing else like it. It's very practical. You'll get access to, Wokeria's already mentioned some of the opportunities, but the people that will come and teach you are also a great opportunity to network. And that's an important aspect as well of this degree, not just the practical learning, it's the exposure to people. It's interesting, Hetvi and Sana on the line, and they'll speak shortly. I'm very proud to say I'm Hetvi's industrial supervisor for a PhD, and as well as mentoring her, I also mentor Sana. And it only just struck me when I saw them both on the screen how important those relationships are. So please ask questions. We are here to help, not only now, but in the future. and I'll pass back to Georgia to throw the ball to the next catcher.
That was amazing. Thank you very much to both Val and Gordon, and we will be speaking to Mustafa about his experience in a minute. What I think is quite important to do, not only to just give Val and Gordon a little bit of a break from speaking, is just to, if we bring Hetvi and Sana back, and just talk to them both about. So if I go to Sana first, Sana, if you can just tell people why you chose to study the course.
Yeah, sure. So before studying QBD, I wasn't really sure what field to go into. I was working at Boots in an entry-level role as a formulation technologist, and I just wanted a bit of an academic boost before going back into industry again. But then, whilst actually studying the course, I realized through the variety of the modules that we have, we've got chemometrics, formulation, biopharma, that the industry is currently going through a massive change. So in industry, we've got, emerging AI, machine learning, personalized medicines, etc. And so there's also this whole new field of tech that people, especially women now, can get involved in through this. As well as that, more and more countries, I realized, are becoming members of the ICH. The ICH principles are what, this course has been based on. And, personally, I think it would be invaluable to be a part of this sort of fourth industrial revolution, or Pharma 4, as some are coining it. And this master's really equipped me with the regulatory knowledge that I need going forward as a young professional or scientist in this evolving landscape. Over the past year, I've traveled a lot between the US and Europe through the job that I'm currently in. And everywhere I go, I always get asked the same sort of question when I'm exhibiting at booths. What is this quality by design course you studied? What does it entail? And it's also because, QBD is thrown around a lot right now in industry. It's a buzzword, and regulators are also kind of favoring submissions that have quality by design elements. So there's this race to sort of be a part of the enhanced way of working and submitting, but it's also something that has to be done methodologically and chronologically. And by rigorously applying the quality by design principles in practical settings during the master's, the sequential way of working is really emphasized to you. So to finish, I'd also say that I was really impressed with the different types of roles that I was eligible for. For example, you've got project management roles, validation, manufacturing. So whether you're a lab-based person or an office-based person, or maybe a bit of both like me, you can find something suitable for you. And then in terms of support with these roles, as Walkiria mentioned, we have the masterclasses, workshops, symposiums, and so there's a lot of industry interaction to help you prep as well. As Gordon mentioned, I met him through the course, and consequently he became my mentor, and that has helped me a lot. So there's a lot of great technical and support takeaways based on what you might want to specifically specialize in. It's a very niche course. Again, that's already been mentioned, and I don't say it lightly when I say that making the decision to do the course changed my life.
That's amazing, and I think one of the things that surprised me the most is like the kind of the breadth of job opportunities that you have. You're not pigeonholed, and the fact you can go into so much is amazing. If I go to Hetvi, same sort of question, like what did you want to gain from doing it? Because I know obviously now you're doing research. What was in the same question, why did you choose to study this course?
While I was studying my undergraduate degree in pharmaceutical and cosmetic science, I gained a real interest in the manufacturing aspect, and I really wanted to work in the pharmaceutical industry. But as Gordon said, it is a very competitive field. So in order to stand out, I wanted to do the Pharmaceutical Quality by Design Masters, as it gives you the opportunity to develop your skills further and get enhanced skills, which will be which will help when you want to apply for a job. And generally, the master's has shaped my aspirations to work in the pharmaceutical industry. And it also helped me realize that I have a real passion for research, which is why I went into doing a PhD straight after my master's. And it's a great experience, and it has strengthened my choice in the career path. I think the biggest advantage of doing this course is that you get to network with others in the field, and you get to connect with the pharmaceutical industry, which is a bonus when you do this course, and you learn so much from it. And I'm really lucky to have mentors such as Gordon to guide me through the process. And I hope that in the future, when I apply for the pharmaceutical industry, it'll open up many doors doing the master's and doing my PhD now as well.
Amazing. Because I've got some more questions for you guys at the end, but I will let you both take a moment. Just before we introduce our next academic to talk about his experience, just want to say big hi to Raj and Ajit that are watching. Great for you guys to tune in. So if we bring back Mustafa, I have been told that you have a wide range of experience of working with international companies, and you were recently stationed in South Korea. So
I
if you could tell us a bit
was.
more about your role, that'd be amazing.
I was. All the rumors are true. Thank you for that. So just to sort of reiterate what Gordon and the rest of the team, Sana and Happy have said, you know, this course is unique because it allows you not just to learn about the theoretical, but apply it practically. And that's what it's all about. So you can go to your next employer and you can say, look, I've done all these experiments, I've applied it, I have all these mentors, there's a great book to go with the course, which I was fortunate enough to contribute to. And those are all practical experiences. It's based on real life. So that's really, really important. So I mentioned some things about myself in my introduction, but like Gordon, I've really been blessed in terms of having some great experiences throughout my career. Now, after qualifying and doing my PhD, I was really fortunate enough to join the MHRA, the Medicines Control Agency, based in the UK, as a quality reviewer. So looking at the quality part of the dossier. The dossier is made up of 5 modules, and I was looking at module 3 in particular, both for the drug substance or the chemistry behind it, and the drug product in terms of how the product is eventually made. And throughout that time, I worked with lots of toxicologists, statisticians, and clinical reviewers as well, to hopefully give that product a license and benefit patients. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the patient to make sure they get a quality product which is efficacious and it's safe. So that's really was the cornerstone and the nucleus of my career. And during that period when I was at the MHRA, I was introduced by one of my closest friends, Gustavo Marco, to Valkyria. And at that time, we started to talk about the course, develop the course, do some videos as well, in terms of the regulatory aspects, because we thought it would be a real added benefit, not just to talk about the theoretical, but how is it applied in the real world. So that was like the foundation of my career. I've been fortunate enough to work in industry as well. So at GSK, which was very much QBD-fied in terms of its thinking and forward thinking. I was exposed to QBD there, and working and developing dossiers and experiments, and working with the different brilliant development teams and analysts from a QBD point of view. So having that foundation, having that understanding, and helping develop the course from grassroots level really, really increased my interest and benefited industry as well. Because science is dynamic, it's not stagnant, and pushing the envelope, pushing the regulator in terms of their thinking, and also developing guidelines with the regulators, so important. And that this course will help you give that foundation. I also worked in Korea most recently, on site, working for a biosimilar company who are developing insulin and some monoclonal antibodies there. Excellent experience. And again, no, they brought me in as a QBD specialist as well, to help them develop their products in line with this new paradigm. Well, I call it a new paradigm. It's really an old paradigm now, but using those really, really important principles of risk assessments and development and continuously looking at that process. I've also worked most recently also in a number of clinical research organizations, really as a consultant, as a troubleshooter, with different companies, small companies, large companies, and medium-sized companies, and looking at their development programs in terms of the strategy. Are there any gaps in their development program? Doing risk analysis, doing due diligence, whether it's on-site and off-site, again, honing in on those QBD principles that we've learned. Looking at clinical trial applications as well as market authorization applications, both from a EU, US, and rest of the world point of view. So really, in summary, I was just trying to think of a smart acronym to summarize my experience, and I came up with PAST: plan, advise, strategize, and troubleshoot. And for those of you who are clever, that also you can also create another acronym called TAPS from there as well. But I think PAST is probably a better acronym. So thank you.
Amazing. Just out of interest, how many years experience have you got? If you put everything together, how many years would you say you've been in industry?
Just over 15, 16 years now. I know I'm young. Yeah. But...
well, that's amazing. And you obviously have Gordon, who we just spoke to.
Absolutely. I mean, Gordon's got twice the experience I have, and he can tell more stories, and he's got some great stories, incidentally. But I think bringing everyone together. I mean, I'm just one person. There's a back room of mentors and staff who have got great experience on the course. And if you're fortunate enough to come to the symposium, that will be shown there as well.
And I think that's really like a crucial point of, like you're saying, the vast amount of experience that you have on this course, and the other academics do as well. If we can bring Gordon back as well, because I have a question for the two of you. Hi, there he is. Just big hi to Paige. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your comment. So this question is for both of you. Like with many health and life sciences professions, we expect to see changes in practices moving forward. So just the other day, we had a live stream where we discussed the changing roles of pharmacists. And if anyone's interested in watching that live stream, we will put it in the comments, so you can go back and watch it if you'd like to. My question to the two of you is, can we expect to see changes within the pharmaceutical industry more broadly? And how do you think that would impact graduates of this course?
Yeah, both Mustafa and I are pharmacists. And if you go back more than 30 years in my experience and more than 15 years Mustafa's, it was quite common for pharmacists to go into industry. My perception would be that because the training of the pharmacy degree in the UK and in other countries is becoming more clinically focused, those who want to do what I'm going to say is more pharmaceutics, more the development and manufacturing, there's probably fewer pharmacists going into that area because they're more clinically trained. So they may be going in more to the clinical aspects of product development, but maybe not the stainless steel and physics of making medicines. So I think there are some opportunities. However, again, but not to alarm people, that space has been taken up by lots of chemists, engineers, and other disciplines. Well, you even now get physicists and mathematicians in that area. But this degree is unique. And we want to move on to talking maybe about the employment opportunities. Certainly, although I have now set up my own business for the last 3 years, for the previous 12 years, I was Vice President of New Product Development at GlaxoSmithKline. And since becoming aware of this course, well, Katie may be able to check this number, but I think my groups have hired over a dozen and a half people annually, not that number annually, that number in total, but it would be 2 or 3 every year as an output from the course. And I do know that the other large, small and medium companies and contract companies all did a similar thing. The rate of employment from this degree is quite high partly because of its unique nature. I'm going to now say it for about the 5th or 6th time, but the networking opportunities are unbelievable. The symposia that was mentioned, we also run annually towards the end of the degree a recruitment masterclass. And this is really an amalgamation. It's something I generated when at GSK, but it's an amalgamation of all the things we've learned over the years about what makes a good CV, what gets your CV thrown in the bin without getting anywhere, how you handle video interviews, which are becoming very common, how you handle a telephone interview, how you handle a face-to-face interview. So it's an amalgamation of, I was going to say tips and tricks, but they're not tips and not tricks. They're, as Kendall says, absolute common sense. But people often get caught up in the application process and make errors. I've had a job application to work for my wonderful company because the person always wanted to work for Pfizer. They had just mail merged an email and put GSK, applied to GSK for a job in Pfizer. Dumb. So we also have a day where we do this awareness for the students, and we also run a workshop which would be like an interview process where you're actually in the room with maybe 20 other people who also want that job. And how do you come out with a job from that environment? And we also give some tips on do's and don'ts of getting through that type of workshop interview. That's me.
That's great. Thank you, Gordon. So I wanted to come in, and all those are really, really valid points. I wanted to perhaps come to it in a slightly different angle, in the sense that knowledge about processes, especially when companies are using QBD principles, is increasing. That means data is increasing. That means if you have more data, that's up to more interpretation, which could lead to confusion. And this is where the company that Sana works for really, really helps. So handling that data is the key as well, because at the end of the day, you have to tell the story to the regulator. So in that sense, the industry is changing, and I think this course really helps you deal with that, because it has modules which helps you deal with the risk analysis, certain modules, Ishikawa diagrams, software, and so on, which help you to understand what that data really means. And in a sense that as years go by, I mean, I started my career 15, 16 years ago. If I look at the toolbox available then, that was available to pharmacists and developers, and look at the toolbox now, it has changed immensely. And that's because companies are becoming more and more innovative, in the sense that you have really snazzy, for example, drug-device combinations, which are linked to an app, which are linked to software, right? and that becomes device. That all becomes a device, and does that device need to be certified or not? Well, depends on what you're trying to do with that device. But it's pushing the envelope in terms of what the regulator needs. So recently, I'm helping a company develop a really niche drug-device combination for an inhalation therapy, which is linked to an app, but has a very intelligent algorithm which helps the patient deliver different doses at different times of that different product. So that's pushing the envelope. Now, regulators, they don't have all the tools available to them in the guidelines. So having the upfront conversations is changing the industry in the sense that because the regulator doesn't necessarily know the answers and you have to go with the solutions, it's pushing that envelope. Advanced therapies are really, really challenging the regulator. Just this morning, I'm working on a cell therapy pediatric development program. Okay, now I'm not an expert on cell therapy, but using the toolbox and using all the innovation that we have, I need to be able to tell the regulator and tell the client that their formulation is fit for purpose or not. Is it toxic? Can it deliver that dose? Can it deliver that dose for that chronic kidney disease via percutaneous injection or not? And again, it's pushing that envelope and doing lots of risk analysis to help the regulator understand that using that formulation at that concentration with that excipient won't harm the patient. So the industry is changing a lot, but that means that we need a solid course to help us think out of the box, do that risk analysis, and look at that design space to give the regulator peace of mind that that product is safe to give to the patient. So, it really helps you put what you understand into practice. Thanks.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. I think before we go on to the Q&A, if we bring everyone back, so if we bring Val, Hetby and Sana back, there we go. There's Val, there's Hetby and there's Sana. Perfect. Okay, so I have a question and we're going to come to each of you individually. So my question for Hetby and Sana is obviously the transition from undergraduate studies to postgraduate studies is very different. What would be your top tip for a student that was in your position to get them prepared for postgraduate study? So I'll let you think about that for a second. And then to Val, Gordon and Mustafa, any advice that you would give to students applying to the Pharmaceutical Quality by Design? So if we go to, because Sana is just underneath me, we'll come to Sana first. If you can just give us your just quick top tip for students.
What I'd say is I'd say go on the website, have a look at the different modules. And if you have a look at the module titles and do some research online, what you'll first see is that every single aspect of the product lifecycle is covered through these modules. And so there's so many websites, there's Science Direct, Pharmatech, a lot of websites that you can go on and, kind of get a gauge of what the course entails. Yeah, that would be my top tip.
Amazing. And then if we go to Hetby as well?
Like Sana said, to go on the website and look at what the course has to offer. I'd say research the modules and make sure that you're really interested in what you're going to be doing in the next year. And maybe read some scientific journals. And if you're weak on the pharmaceutical science knowledge, you could read a book called Alton's Pharmaceutics. So just briefly read about pharmaceutical processes, so it'll brush up your knowledge and it will help prepare for the course when you start in October.
And I know we've got quite a few questions. So Val, do you want to give us any advice to any students? And then we can go on to the other questions.
It's me. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. If I can say very briefly, one thing that I haven't mentioned, if you want to, like Mustafa has said, if you want to think outside the box, this program will enable you, will help you to be an independent learner and to prepare you for life. We don't have any exams. All the assessed work that we do is almost a bespoke coursework per student, is an individual coursework. So we teach you, we give you time to learn, and we will give you time to practice. You're gonna have to develop a critical thinking. And this is, for me, I have a passion about that. And I think this is an extremely important skill that we try to develop with you. So to prepare you for life and to be an independent worker and thinker that you can contribute to the industry, not only the pharma industry, but any industry, any work that you're going to after you finish this course.
Amazing. So I think what we'll do now is, I know there's a few questions that have been asked by people before, so they will be getting brought up in a second. Okay, so we have a question from Peter, and Peter would like to know more about the learning experience, which you touched briefly on there, Val, and exposure in regards to pharmaceutical quality by design.
I think the learning experience is a hybrid approach that we always have. So we have traditional lectures, and we also have quite a range of practicals, workshops, and discussion type of activities that, again, like I said, prepares you and develops your critical thinking. So in terms of learning, I think we have a variety of tools for you to enhance and to acquire skills that you need when you go out for working life. Exposure, we have a brilliant network, and this course, as I said, is being running for 10 years. Our students are our ambassadors, and Sana, the company that she's working for now, QBD Vision, we are developing relationships with this company as a mentoring schemes for our students. And Sana is already mentoring one student in her final project. So in terms of providing you knowledge and network experience that you can take for life afterwards, I think we are in a good position to give you that. Both the learning experience in terms of strategy, pedagogic ways that we use to deliver the content that you need, and also the exposure that you also need for future enhancement of your career opportunities afterwards.
Gordon or Mustafa, do either of you have anything to add, or do you think Val's covered everything there?
No, covered, but this aspect of independent working is very important, and it's built into the design of this course. The reason it's built in is that when you, or the people who come through and graduate from this program, are working, they will be given accountability very early on in their career. They will be stress developed. I immediately think of one of the former graduates I had quite a while ago, who within 2 years was running my £10 million continuous rig in Hertfordshire. She was the boss, and she had only worked for me for a couple of years. Very early accountability. So this aspect of initiative, you hear, you learn, you discuss, you then plan and do and check and then repeat. It's very important. You will not be spoon-fed on this course, because you will not be spoon-fed in life. It gets you ready for serious employment. So I would just magnify what Wakiria has said.
Perfect. And then if we go to our next question. So this question comes from someone. So, and this might be one for Hetvi and Sana. Can I work whilst studying this master's?
Hetvi?
Shall I go?
I personally didn't work during my master's because it is a full-time course, but I did have a lot of friends who did do jobs over the weekend, but you have to have a balance between working and studying at the same time. So it is possible, but you just have to find the balance.
Yeah, like same situation as Hetvi. I also didn't work alongside because it is a full-time master's. But the students that I currently work with, the current cohort of this master's, a lot of them work, and a lot of my friends whilst I was doing also worked. And I think it's just about when you're starting the course, having a look at the timetable, because you have the whole year's timetable available for you, having a look at what lectures are recorded, what you might have to miss because of your part-time job. But then there are essential things like labs that you can't miss no matter what. So yes, you definitely can work. But I'd say I'd definitely have a conversation with Valkyria about like organization in terms of your work-life balance.
Amazing. So I know there's normally the question around like funding opportunities for students. So we will put a link in the comments to our fees and funding pages, so you're able to find out any more information. Yeah, I think we're going to finish the live stream there. It seems like a really good place to finish it off. Thank you very much to everyone for listening and your questions. Big thank you to everyone that's joined me today. So it's been great, and I hope you've all contributed massively. So thank you very much. You've made my job as a host a lot easier. If you want to find out more about postgraduate study at DMU, we have a postgraduate online chat, and that is taking place on Saturday, the 4th of July. You also can connect with other students. There you go. That was just like magic. There's just a link there for you to find it, just to follow that. You can also connect with other students in the Applying to DMU 2020 Facebook group. We hope you enjoyed today's session. We're going to be hosting more of these live streams in the coming weeks, so please keep an eye out on DMU's website, as we'd love to see you all again. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Good
Bye,
to see you.
everyone. Thank you.